It's the AM News Review with yours truly. Welcome back. Before I get to my guests, you know how we do it. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic helping us bring you this segment. What are they offering you? If you're a man, prostate screening for free. If you've hit not even 40 now, 35 and above, you're a man, you don't know your prostate status. There's a problem somewhere there. If you're a woman, you don't know what your fertility status is. You may have issues. So get yourself checked out for free at Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. And where can you find them? Here in Accra at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard. Kumasi Kronomo Abwe here behind the Angel Educational Complex. Let's talk about the NIG State Tema Community 22, Techiman Hansua and the Siamanzama. If you'd like to call them, and I suggest you do so this morning, the numbers are 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. But joining me this morning, he is the CEO of the Consumer Protection Agency. He's in the person of Kofi Kapito. We also have Afil Money, former president of the Ghana Journalists Association. One is in white, the other one is in a shade of navy blue. It almost looks like the Kaunda suit, apart from the lengthy sleeves. It would have been. This is Nkrumah suit. Okay. Some things when you put on, they just remind you of certain characters from the past. Some of our greatest leaders, actually.
Yes. Nkrumah is incomparably the greatest.
Okay, so we did this last week, and you thought I had forgotten, so I'm going to do this again this week. Ziniagovi.
Yes, sir.
Why now, Oshe? You started the battle, so let's do this. Whom are you wearing this morning? Or today, dear, it is Amanone one.
No. This still is Keche.
This is?
It's by Keche.
Oh, it's by Keche. Okay. It's Keche, you Keche. Oh.
Keche, you Keche. And actually, I have some good news for you.
You do?
They want to make you one of the ambassadors.
Oh, Zah.
Yes.
Looks like many more are coming on board. That's nice. That's nice. Put it there. Kofi. Famoso.
Oh, yeah.
I like this deal. How about you? Who served you your Nkrumah suit?
A friend took me to a shop where I bought it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine. For me, as always, I am decked in something by Siru Africa. Mudasiru is his name. He's a young man operating around the Kanda area, doing amazing things. And if you like what you see, well, you can just reach out to him. His number 0557 029 138. 0557 029 138. He's on Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram at Siru-Africa. SIRU-Africa. Check him out. You never know. Anyway, so let's get into our quick thoughts for us, and then I know it's going to be a heated affair. Heated in a nice way. Food must be warm and all that. But I'll start with you, Afil Money. What are your thoughts for us this morning?
We all know that the spikes are out.
The what?
The spikes
are
out, and the race is on for election 2024. It has been touted as one election which we define and it tests our democratic resilience. So the stakes are high and the interest is incredible. So it's natural for politicians who are consumed with false assumptions, mendacious claims, unrealistic promises to spew them in their desperate attempt to win votes and ascend to the presidency. And we have a sacrosanct mandate as media professionals to weave all their promises, all their claims to the tight reality, making sure that we cross-check and fact-check so that the consumers of media content are insulated from consuming fake news, misinformation, disinformation, which might affect their decisions and skew the elections possibly in the wrong direction. So we should not, in the name of God, compromise this professional mandate to ensure that whatever is fed the listening and reading public is nothing by the truth. Elections go beyond the performative acts of voting every 4 years. And as a nation, we have a responsibility to put Ghana on the firm path or firmer path of democratic ascendancy and not democratic retrogression. And in terms of misinformation, disinformation, one classic example is the statement made at the inauguration of Ghana Gold Refinery, that it is the biggest in Ghana. Meanwhile, as far back as 2016, the former president inaugurated Ghc230m Gold Refinery, which was described as the second largest in Africa. There are lingering questions about the new refinery. So in the name of cross-checking, in the name of factual journalism, the media should zoom in there so that the public are fed with nothing but the truth.
Well, Bright Simmons has been writing on X, posting about it, and he says it's just another backdoor route to Ejapa. But that's his thinking. Kofi Kapito, the captain himself.
You know, I find it interesting that we always make a fuss about the election year. This is the be it all, do it all, you know. If you don't get it right, Ghana will go up in flames every election cycle. So to me, it's just an election. We had it the last time, 1992, when we went into the Fourth Republic. Same thing.
You don't see anything different about this political, season because, mind you, like I always say, it's different. For the first time, a party that has been in power for 2 terms is actively seeking a 3rd term. Not that they don't actively seek, but looking at the temperature of the country, and they're seeking it. Versus a former president, never before happened for a former president to want to come back. And you look at the dynamics, people feeling corruption is on the ascendancy, the Afrobarometer revealing that people are tired of this kind of democracy, among others. It's not exactly like any other election.
The reason why I'm saying that is the same thing is we have the same results. You get my point? Look, Mr. Alan Kyerematen has put himself out there as the 3rd force. Somebody who wants to bring Ghana together and stop this duopoly of NDC, NPP thing so that we will focus on Ghana. Think about Ghana, not think about the parties. In Ghana, we think about the party. This is the only country, or maybe it's only in Africa, or the developing country, that the moment we finish an election, we go into an election again. We don't think about the nation. We don't think about how the people, we think because you belong to party A or party B, you don't deserve to be a Ghanaian after elections. And I'm telling you, come December, elections, you will see people probably who are in power now, all of them will be kicked out. A new force will come, and they will come and repeat the same thing, and then the cycle would do itself again. The question is the Ghanaian, this is my worry, the Ghanaian who's complaining, corruption, everything, indiscipline, carnage on our roads. It's the same Ghanaian who will not be discerning enough to say that, look, because this particular person promised me 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 16 years ago that they were going to do A, B, C, D, and they haven't done it. Why do they need my vote?
But let me quickly ask you this. I know you support Alan Kyerematen and his great transformational plan and all of that. But in as much as people must look at the viability of the NDC and the MPP, right? Shouldn't they also be looking at the viability of any other party or entity claiming to be a 3rd force or claiming we can do better? Because rationally speaking, people would say, okay, A and B, but I mean, what could this person bring? And unfortunately for Alan Kyerematen, he has been with the MPP. And people have also said, you also made promises. I remember very clearly some of his promises on Komenda. He served under Kufuor he served under Akufo-Addo. So some will also say, why you cry? We've seen you. So what difference are you bringing? How do you reflect on that?
So are you trying to tell me that every member of the party has been seen, or every appointee? If not, they won't come and seek leadership, or former or current. That argument doesn't add up to
It's
me.
not about seeing. It's about you have been in government. We've seen you at work.
Every political party have members. And these same members are the ones who come and seek your mandate. So let's stop that argument. You are not going to get somebody from India or Nigeria to come and say, I'm coming to stand for NDC or MPP. It's the same Ghanaians who are in the same party who will come and ask you again. Probably even a member of the...
I think you're slightly missing my point.
I'm not missing that point.
Part of why Trump, Donald John Trump, came to power wasn't just about white evangelical Americans.
Yes.
People, when he was talking about draining the swamp and all of that, do you know why? Part of why people voted him.
I know why, because
they were tired of establishment politicians. That's why they kicked out Hillary Clinton. That's why they didn't give. They said, hey, you know, establishment politicians, we don't want. They are known. They are these people that have always been there through. We want someone totally new. So they would go for a dangerous option.
But what I want you to understand is, Trump was a Republican or became a Republican. Trump did not run as an independent party. He ran on the back of the party. So this argument, let's put it to rest. I'm getting tired of it. The fact that I've been, you're a member of Ghc Chum's organization, what's it called?
Multimedia.
Multimedia. Does it mean that if people are complaining about multimedia, you cannot be giving the nod to come and make it better? Is that what you're trying to tell me, that everybody in multimedia is not capable, or who was a member of it, who decides that I don't want to be part of multimedia anymore because I've seen what my multimedia was. I want to make it better. Why not? I don't buy this argument. Anyway, let me go. Look, there's this, you know the story that I called you about yesterday? There's this thing in the new Finder, Delta to introduce fast free Wi-Fi on flights to Ghana, Nigeria, and Senegal by early 2025.
Okay, so we've started with the paper. So let's start.
No, I'm just saying, remember, you see, these international airlines, they don't respect Africans. And the sad thing is, the aviation, Ghana civil aviation, sometimes I feel like they condone, they allow for them to abuse us. I tell you something specific that I've dealt with the civil aviation of Ghana. British Airways, of all international airlines, has taken upon themselves that they have the right to charge you extra $50. Mr. Afemoni, when you make, the reason why you make online reservation, so that you're fair, because there's no agent.
Right.
Will
so
be
you
free.
cut
all those
the middlemen.
British Airways has introduced a $50 charge, and it's only in Ghana that they are doing it.
Have you personally experienced this?
I've been there. Now, some of the British Airways people don't even talk to me because they claim that I have exposed them. The question is, you cannot tell me that when I make my own reservation and check worldwide, the reason why they tell you do it yourself, because now there's no agency or agent in the middle. All right? But British Airways tags on. What even annoys me, I have made a reservation. Mr. Money, I owe you money. You said, anyway, your money is right. And then you tell me, Kofi, don't come to my house and give me the money. My bank is so and so bank. There's one in your area. That is your bank. Oh. You tell me to take your money to your bank. And I get to your bank. And your bank tells me that I should pay $50 extra for putting the money in your own account.
No.
That is what British Airways is doing. And the Minister of Aviation is aware. And the Minister for Transport is aware.
So that's about 750 cedis.
Yes! You have to.
But let me get this clear, because we have to be fair to all parties in here. You make your reservations online. You pay the fee there. Or if you are going to pay at the bank, you pay the stipulated amount. What are the $50 for again?
Well, ask British Airways, I don't know.
But
I mean, that is what I'm trying to find out.
You had to go through this. Did you bother to ask?
asked, and they can't give me any answer. And the aviation department, the Ghana,
the aviation authority,
civil aviation, my own friend, Mr. Kraku, and his team, they are frustrating Ghanaians. Actually, I have a lawyer who is about to take the aviation and British Airways to court in Ghana because we cannot allow, they will never do this thing in London. Neither will they do this in America. Even if you go online, and I checked, when I booked a flight from here to London, they tagged the $50 because I said I want to go and pay at their own bank. They gave me the bank. Then I did the same reservation through Lagos. It's not there. Through South Africa, it is not there. So why is it only in Ghana?
And I can understand it is crucial, not even just personally. You are with the Consumer Protection Agency. So we are consumers of that product, the flight.
Yes.
And so we must be protected. I mean, some years back, many years ago, I had my own incident with KLM. So KLM Air France. That was a different issue. But sometimes the way we are treated in this part of the world. I mean, how many times haven't you heard of, and I'm being careful mentioning brands, but certain airlines from the United States and how Ghanaians keep getting treated. Your flight is late, your flight is not showing up, there's been a cancellation somewhere and you are dumped somewhere, you know. It's just, and like Kofi is saying, the Ghanaian is treated as though he didn't matter. And it's not just what you just read here. So many of these airlines and our people are looking on, and Ghanaians are, pardon my language, being treated like trash. After you forked out thousands of, cedis, many hundreds of dollars, in some cases over $1,000 or something, to purchase flight tickets and all of that, you are treated as though you didn't even matter.
I think Kofi is well equipped to sustain this fight.
So Kofi, keep up the fight, pursue the legal angle,
since you mentioned,
and get people to work.
Since you mentioned a joint or an alliance, now all the airlines are going into some alliance, okay?
Right.
And that is what even I don't understand. If you go into an alliance, the rules and regulation should be vice versa. Do you know even in the alliance, individual airlines are allowed to make their own rules?
I see.
It happened to me. I bought an airline ticket. Actually, I bought a Brussels airline ticket.
Okay.
They are a co-share with United. Okay. And I don't want to flaunt, but the class that I paid for allows me a certain weight.
Okay.
It allows you two suitcases of that weight, and any extra bag should be the same weight. So if it's economy, business, or first class, all of them come to weight. Every airline would allow you to pay that single price with the same weight in the class. United refuses to honor because they say their rules are different from Brussels. Then you say you have an alliance or you have a measure. They are civil aviation people are aware. I am angry, I am frustrated because the people put in charge to protect me as a Ghanaian, they don't do anything. That is why I'm angry. When you go to them, they will tell you, Mr. Capito, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that. It's, like you said, it's only Ghanaians who will allow themselves to be mistreated, to be abused, to be insulted, and they go back and do business with the same person who insulted them.
And I have stopped some of a long time ago. Let me just chip this in. I'm not going to mention any brands for the sake of not.
Yeah, I mentioned because it happened to me.
I'm veering into a different territory. If you look at even these satellites, digital, whatever, TV connections where you get to watch, I just don't want to mention the brand's name. And you go to Nigeria and other places, how much they are charging there, whether it's because of the size of the population. And you come to Ghana and the charges. In Nigeria, those entities were taken on. Yeah. They had to beat down their prices. But in Ghana, it's exorbitant. I stopped those subscriptions a long time ago because I don't even stay at home to watch. But I'm saying that the Ghanaian is often hoodwinked, taken advantage of, and those meant to protect us, sometimes you are compelled to believe they get some benefits enjoy those benefits, so they will not seek your protection. You get it? They don't care about it.
I mean, it's
no
nice
regulation.
to believe that Kofi has been compromised in any way. So Kofi, all this reinforces the need for you to step up in the fight and engage the media. Let's expose the dark spots in the airline industry so that they do the needful.
You know, it is frustrating because you see, and I tell them, I just didn't start traveling just yesterday. What is even more ridiculous is the local airlines. The Iowa and then
as for
them. Are you getting my point? But guess what? Do you know if you are late to the airport, they will charge you a fee.
Yes.
But if they
are late,
delayed,
or if you cancel their flight,
by law, they are supposed to compensate you.
Yeah, they will not.
They will not even give you water, give you a sandwich, because there are steps. A cousin of mine just came on British Airways. His suitcase delayed 5 days. None of the airline agencies even had the audacity to say we are sorry. And he's a Roman pastor, a priest. He sent me the thing, and I said, Father, you should have complained at the airport.
Yeah.
Because the airlines are aware. If you get to Kotoka, how many times do you see the agencies of the airline at arrival?
Yeah.
They are not available. Yeah. They are not available. And this thing, the aviation ministry or the minister for transport should tell these airlines to stop.
All right. I see the passion in there, and very justified, righteous passion.
Yes, righteous indeed.
This morning. But let's get into the papers now. You've already started with, is it the New Finder newspaper? So let's continue from there, Kofi.
Yeah, but go also, and I'm looking at consumer issues, right?
But let's start with the headlines.
Okay, the headlines.
Then you can get into
the Finder, the New Finder, Apietis tragedy, Apietis or Apieti. Yeah. Okay, 82 house owners receive new homes. Joint National Security takes force raids 8 illegal forex operators. Government outlines strategic reforms for SOEs in Ghana. Clear economic direction needed for growth. The GCEMD. And then SSNIT recalls 230 million surplus. So that is what we have in front of the New Finder. And then the publisher, Park Loud SSNIT financial turnaround. Government has been meticulous in protecting public lands. Abu Jinapo, my own little brother. Presidential debate. Mahama runs away from Baumia. And then Hobson, media general hit with 10 million lawsuit over a Japadia document. That's what I have in the front of the newspapers.
All right, so which of the stories would you like to look at?
What I want to look at is the Gold thing. Yeah. The Ghana Gold Petro. They say that they have reintroduced.
Which page is it supposed to be on?
I just saw it.
You can check from.
Yeah, it's here.
Right.
It's page 9. Gold reintroduces Super XP into the market. Gold, I don't know whether it was a marketing thing or they just wanted to let Ghanaians have a feel of equivalent of, is it V-Power? But they call theirs, theirs was a little different.
Well,
Okay.
the RON 95 spec. If you,
Yes.
I realized some months back, anywhere you went, they had.
Gold had the Super X95.
Yes, Super X90.
X95 that they gave it as the same price.
It wasn't technically the same. I bought some.
No,
it wasn't
no,
the
no,
same
no,
price
no,
as
before they didn't have the RON 95 was supposed to be the Super X95.
Right.
Because they said they had added some additives to it to make it better,
Right.
just to the same level as
Right.
the V-Power.
RON 95 V-Power.
Yes. Then now they say no. They would not give you that value for money for the X95 because of some challenges that they had. So now they've introduced the RON 91 again, which is supposed to be a lesser
Which I have
in terms
now
of, yes, which is fine. I don't have a problem. But my thing is, you gave me something nice that I was enjoying as a consumer, you know. And then it's like somebody gives you champagne and you acquire the taste of champagne, and all of a sudden they tell you, no, if you want champagne, it will be expensive, so go and buy Akpeteshi. That is the difference. You know,
but is that not also, you are into consumer protection and you know about marketing and all of that? I don't know fundamentally whether they were selling it at the same price, because comparatively, when I was buying Super XP95 or Super X95 from Goyle, comparatively to Ron 95 at Total, comparative to V-Power at Shell, it was around the same price. So I don't know when you were buying or whether it was at a lower price. But I'm saying that...
No, I'm talking about they did not have that 95 and 91. It was all
it was
95.
standard. It was standard
yes.
95, right? But I'm saying, even if that being the case, or that being said, marketing. Sometimes someone can give you a product that costs 100 cedis for 95 cedis because they want to get people to be excited about it, and after a while they revert to 100 cedis. It's marketing.
I'm not blaming them. I'm telling them that they should give us the old price.
So you want the fufu. All right, let's get into other stories now. Any other stories from that paper you would like to, or are you done with this?
Yeah, I'm done with this one. So
Ghanaian Times.
Ghanaian Times. Child adoption rising in Ghana. 158 families apply in the first half of 2024.
Right.
President inaugurates $52 million Bolga Regional Hospital rehabilitation project to boost healthcare. And this goes to the NDC. Target students who cannot pay. This is in relation to the free academic visa fee policy they announced this week. And 19 pubs, others fined 475,000 Ghana cedis for flouting public smoking law. That's the Ghanaian Times. And the Searchlight, the Daily Searchlight. Scandal at Bosts. 44 OMCs disappear with 59.5 million Ghana cedis, according to the Daily Searchlight. Tour no longer profitable, cigar boss alleges, and set up innovation hubs to harness potential in students. And Forestry Commission office vandalized over wrongful case. All
right, so which of those stories are you doing?
The NDC story is trending free academic visa fee policy. It said that ideas do not flow from one source. No one person or institution is a repository of wisdom.
Right.
NDC has come up with this policy. It has been touted in so many circles as progressive. But at the same time, there's a need to square this policy to the logic of reality. Because we have
under an IMF program.
Exactly.
They've spoken about how they are going to get the funding, but how sustainable is it over time?
Exactly.
And this morning, when I get into my blunt thoughts, it's one of the things I'm going to assess, the pros and cons, like you said.
Yeah.
Good thing, but could this be another free SHS?
Exactly.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Free SHS, beautiful, but how it's been. Because I mean, all of us were in secondary school, not senior high school, secondary school, and we did what we did, and we saw. Now you see people, it's free, but they are ending up paying more than perhaps. So we have to be careful about how we go about these.
Of the whole cost of education. Yeah. So, but NDC claims it's also disposed to receiving ideas and all that. And so this policy ought to be subjected to the tightest scrutiny.
Right.
In the supreme interest of the nation. Yeah.
I mean, come election 2024, everything that any politician says must be looked at microscopically.
Which is
because some of them are saying things that border on the surreal. And I'm not necessarily talking about the former president. I've heard some other things from Dr. Baumia, former President Mahama, even Alan Chamating and some others. And I asked myself, okay, what's going on, But anyway, Kofi, do you have any thoughts on that? Quick thoughts on that.
I was going to look at this child adoption thing.
Right.
And the quick thoughts as you're asking me, yes, I agree. People just say things and they get away with it. In other jurisdictions, you will never get away with it. They will scrutinize your whatever that you said.
Do you remember the Obameter? Obama. Obameter. They had something called an Obameter.
Yes.
And they measured the guy for everything that had been said. Every last thing.
See, let me tell you what, and I'm not saying that your people, which this organization, don't do it. That is what the media is supposed to be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You bring people who have the technical know-how to come and fact check.
Yes.
Yes, I agree with this person on this one, but maybe he embellished it a little bit more. That is how they do it. Here, the communicators, they sit on radio, they sit on television, and they say anything they want.
Yeah.
And nobody, and then...
And when you are like me and you hold them, then they will say, you are being biased, and you are being, but we'll continue doing it.
I want to look at this.
Yes.
I want to look at this child adoption rising in Ghana.
Right.
I beg the system that they should make it a little bit faster than what it is now. Because a lot of families need children, and a lot of children are left in the care of some people who don't even have the motherly thing for them to care for them. Look, there's been cases that people go to some of these children's homes to go and donate things for the children. And before you can say Jack or say who, the people, the other people, take over them. The abuse in these homes, some of these children should be placed. In America, they have, foster parents.
Yeah.
That the child is not yours on a permanent basis, but you're supposed to take care of that child. Okay, so we need to, I'm happy that it's gone up to 158. We should do more. We should regulate it better so that children will be protected. It's because children are the future. We cannot do this and then you will hear somebody at the Olympics will come and tell you that I was adopted. But look at where I am.
Simone Biles.
Yeah, Simone Biles.
It's interesting, but in her case, sometimes it's a bit. I feel for her mother, and her mother is being a bit. She says, you know what? I don't want to force myself. It's both she and her sister. I don't want to force myself. If she feels like it, she should reach out. Respectfully, because at the time she had to hand them over. She was on drugs.
Yeah.
She wasn't, and she realized that she wouldn't be able to give the children.
Volunteer.
They would end up in a bad way. So she had to step aside. I think now she's 52 or something like that. And the important thing, she wasn't adopted by, it was her own grandparents who adopted her. That is Simone Biles. She and her sister, her own grandparents. So now she sees her grandparents as father and mother instead of grandpa and grandma. But those are some interesting dynamics. And you made an important point. Adoption, I think adoption is too cumbersome, convoluted in Ghana in the first place. I've known people who have wanted to, with very good intentions. You scrutinize. And it's unnecessarily cumbersome. Of course, sometimes there's also corruption in there. But abuse and the lack of a system of checking.
Check and balance.
Okay, so the child has been adopted. What is happening to that child today? The child was adopted 3 years ago. Is that child being abused sexually, emotionally, physically? Is that child doing well in school? Adoption, yes, but our social welfare system, it's practically non-existent. So while these are going up, and it's a good thing, we need to get many more people off the streets, many more people who need help. If we all went and took somebody to help, probably wouldn't see the mess we do in society. But how are we protecting them post-adoption? Those are things we...
Ben, do you know there are months of women who are going to fertility clinics? It's expensive. Maybe you have to do it 3 times the treatment. But if they have access to a child somewhere, and some of these children, do you know they end up growing to adulthood because nobody will take them.
Yeah.
And believe me, some of them are also very, very troublesome.
True.
They've been traumatized from where they come from.
True.
You're talking about this Simone Biles thing. Yes, maybe the grandparents knows their daughter better. Maybe. Okay, but yes, it depends on the agreement that they signed for the adoption. Some people will tell you, I don't want to have contact with my natural parents. Some people will say, I would like to when I come of age, so that I would know. Some people will have good relationship with their natural mothers at the same time as the adopted parents.
Let's get into some other stories. I feel money. Let's do, if you're done with the Ghanaian Times, let's look at the Daily Searchlight.
Searchlight's the allegation of scandal at Post.
So bust every day there's a scandal.
I'll tell you a story because I was part of the investigating people who investigated that.
We'll come to you. Let's just get into it and then.
So this is what the paper is alleging. The chief executive,
Mr. Vanderboy.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, the story says.
Is that not, well, there's Tor no longer, or that's a different story?
I think
that's the boss story.
Yeah, this is the boss story.
So can you just read a bit for us?
Broke Ghana, which is currently so much in debt that is cancelling legitimate loans and seeking international financial help, has allowed 44 oil marketing companies to disappear into thin air with a whopping 59.5 million Ghana cedis at the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Limited Company boss. The shocking sum constitutes uncollected boss margin levels. This is revealed in the audit report of the Auditor General on the public accounts of Ghana Public Boss Corporations and other statutory institutions for the period ended 31st December 2023, from pages 64 to 80 of the report. And we are bored that Tor no longer profitable, Siga boss, the chief executive officer of the State Interest Governance and Accountability, Siga, Mr. John Wedu, has opined that the viability of Tor is no longer significant. Answering questions from journalists at the Information Ministry, he indicated that in today's refinery, Tor is not the option in the oil industry. This is because the machines and technology today are quite different from the old system, and machines that cannot be financially good to achieve better results for the country. John Bwedu is
making. Would support sent to a Chinese entity and say what's the 1D1F and all of that, but we'll let Tor rot. I said it the last time at that interaction with the former president. It is a blot on our conscience what we do to state institutions. Look at the price of fuel and how much better we could do even with our paltry sums of oil with fuel consumption in Ghana. Yes, we'll still have to import, but how can we cushion the ordinary Ghanaian? And look at what we've done to Tor. Sometimes I wish there were a way of getting some of these leaders, okay, if I say that, they'll say I'm being violent, but
in the spirit of nationalism, in the spirit of accountability,
Ben, like I was saying,
good governance. So we should be unafraid and unintimidated. Point out.
You see how is it Sri Lanka in some places, and even recently in Bangladesh and all of that. I'm not saying China. I'm not suggesting any when I say these things, I'm not suggesting anyone should attack anybody like in Kenya, the parliamentary, But someone was asking me yesterday. These people up there, the ministers and MPs, do they feel, or is it that we live in different worlds? Do they feel what we feel?
They don't.
Because sometimes the way they talk, it appears, and I say, well, they are within a certain ivory tower.
Yeah, sure.
They are insulated from what we feel on a daily basis. Every week, when I have to go to the fuel pump, my heart starts beating. And for a long time, this was something I never did. I keep my eye on the needle. On the needle. Because once it starts moving from
have to,
I use a 1.6 liter engine. It shocks me because was it yesterday or 2 days ago, I had a half tank. Though I admit my fuel tank, the reserve tank is a bit big from what I've heard. But I have a half tank, which is 6 bars. I'm topping up the remaining 6 bars. And I'm spending 611 cedis and some pesos.
You know what is funny? And I've noticed this myself. When my needle is almost empty, and I feel, compared to when my needle is maybe a quarter empty, I spend almost the same amount in filling. So now
what engine do you use?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying that I don't understand why, if there's a quarter in it, and then compared to when it's almost empty, when the light is on, and I feel there's about 50 or 100 Ghana difference. But I was expecting that I would pay less because it's at a, like what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
Look, this whole bust tall thing, like you said, our leaders, are they serious? Do they really want? The reason why I get a little bit funny about these things is I'm being asked to pay toll recovery debt as you and I sit here today. So if toll is in a coma, why am I paying toll recovery debt? The person is medically dead. The company, as the cigar boss is saying, is medically dead. Why are we spending money on life support? And this Boston, you know, it is funny how Ghanaians, and this is where I have a problem. These are not foreigners who are doing this to us. Ghanaians, that boss contaminated thing, I was part of the investigating team. My saddest thing is we gave a report to the president of Ghana. Up to today, we don't know what has happened to that investigation. It was headed by a professor from...
And have we been doing follow-ups or getting the media to...
What I'm saying is it was presented, it's in the media, headed by a professor from University of Kwame Nkrumah, you know.
University of Science and Technology.
Yes, right. You know, what even saddens me, that we spend states' money. Okay, we chop lunch, we go per diems.
Yeah.
And then what the final report, just like any report that, not just this president, most presidents in Ghana, when you give them a report, even when they write a white paper on it, you don't even know what happens to it. And it is sad. It's supposed to protect Ghanaians.
We have to go, but are you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me quickly do some stories from here, very quickly. Middle Northern Belt's drought, farmers risk loans, default, food security investments under threat. About 334,000 farmers in the middle and northern parts of the country risk defaulting on their bank loans due to the destruction of some farmers' crops and the inability of others to plant as a result of inadequate rainfall. It goes on and on, but we know the problems they face, and even fertilizers that are meant for them sometimes diverted.
And the lip service we pay to irrigation.
Yes, yes. And we're using antiquated methods of farming in a world where people have advanced and are using, even look at our cocoa, we're still doing pick outs, when you can shell maybe 1,000 more with mechanization. Teacher nursing trainee allowances debate resurfaces. Now, as the 2024 general election approaches, the appropriateness of the nursing and teacher trainee allowance has resurfaced, with some academic analysts calling for a thorough debate on the subject. A governance expert, Dr. John Osai Kwapong, said the allowance had to be sustained, but that there should be a cap on admission, while two others urged the political class to discuss the subject outside politics. Of course, we know what the MPP and the NDC have said on that.
Populism is at the center of it all.
Choose prudence over populism, IFS urges government. And the Institute of Fiscal Studies has stated that Ghana's economy remains weak despite macroeconomic improvements. And they are basically saying, do things that will help the economy and help the people, not populism. We'll do this, we'll do that, when in fact,
and populism
there could be nothing
is linked
due to it.
To vote catching.
Indeed.
No,
Crapper tasks, if I may, Crapper tasks ECD to address customer concerns. And on the back page, President Akufo-Addo inaugurates Bolgatanga Regional Hospital. That is the third phase of the Bolgatanga Regional Hospital Rehabilitation Project. The project, we commenced in 2020, comprises a 4-story, 39-apartment flat accommodation for the hospital staff, kitchen, laundry, relatives hostel, and central sterile supply department. The rest are a mortuary block, roads and maintenance works, provision of medical and non-medical equipment, as well as installation of other ancillary facilities. You have a minute each.
Can I ask you a question? That hospital, is it finished? I don't know, because you didn't finish the story. I want to know if
If what?
If that whole hospital is completed now that people can...
The third phase. The third
phase, that means it's not finished. I don't know whether the third phase has finished it or the third phase will be a fourth.
So it says the project, which is intended to provide an ultra-modern secondary referral hospital for the region, was funded by the Saudi fund. Additional, so they gave us $52 million. Additional facilities expected to be executed as part of the fourth phase of the project are a maternity complex, neonatal intensive care unit, surgical unit complex, burns unit complex, hospital maintenance, and central stores department. And just a quick thing I'll say here, it's a good question you posed, because that is why we need a continuum or continuity in government. So let's say, let's assume whether, of course, Akufo-Addo is not going, whether it's the MPP or the NDC that comes. The expectation would be that, or Alan that comes, the expectation would be that whoever comes would probably give us phase 4 or maybe phase 5 in addition. Then the next person, and that is how we build on, so that, oh, this one came and did this. Recently, you has inaugurated something that I believe Professor John Japong started. Now completed under Akufo-Addo. It has to be incremental like that. Quick points, amenities.
And the directive principles of state policy.
My problem,
the need for...
You see, this should not even come in at all. Because the monies are not for the individuals. It's for the people of Ghana. What I want to know is, we should stop this commissioning and saying that it is finished.
Right.
Are you getting my point? I want to see the end thing so that the president will go and cut the sword and commission it. After that, I can use it.
Yes, but this is the end of phase 3.
You're not getting my point.
I get where you're coming from.
All I'm saying is, this is where we allow the politicians to get away.
Okay.
Because, look, people go and cut sword. Okay. I was part of a team that we started cutting sword under another regime, right? And that landing site is still there.
Right. Okay, so point made on that.
In the name of comprehensive journalism, the media should ensure that whoever succeeds is SSNIT Leonardo complete the fourth.
That is what I wanted to see, that, that Tamale hospital has been finished.
The story is done. After renovation. Comprehensive journalism dictates that we follow up this story, especially the fourth phase, in the supreme interest.
The final phase
of this nation. Yeah, the final.
So that people can they will build a nice classroom block. The children are still under the tree. And then they are waiting for the regional minister, something, to come and cut the tape before the children that the building is meant for would have access. And maybe a year or two, the thing is not still. Why?
We have to go, but that reminds me of something. I think about 2 years ago, I was at the Information Ministry for one of those engagements when Kojo Opon-Nkrumah was still there. And he was asking me about information that I had put out, information that had actually come from the Education Ministry, I believe. You know, the Vice President was saying back then that if they came, there would be no schools under trees and all of that. And as of then, we still had close to about, I think, over 2,000 or close to 2,000 of them. Check today and see. So some of these things, it's so sad. Look, but thank you, gentlemen, for joining.
So that we can applaud them.
Thank you for joining the conversation. We have to go. I'd like to say a very good morning to Nana Joabena, fantastic person. We'll catch up. There's also Sewa of Natural Life. I've forgotten your surname, Sewa. You'd have to pardon me on that. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Sewa. May you grow in grace and do God's will. Let me also salute Siru Africa for giving me this lovely shirt that I am donned in this morning. If you'd like to get something similar or even better, and their prices are sweet, very affordable, just reach him on 0557 029 138, 0557 029 138, or on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Siru-Africa, SIRU-Africa. Those who joined the conversation, Kofi Kapito, CEO, Consumer Protection Agency, Afil Mone, former president of the Ghana Journalists Association. Before we veer into Prime Take with Muftau Nabila Abdullahi, Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic helps us bring you this segment every weekday. And they're offering you free prostate screening if you're a man, free fertility screening if you're a woman. You can locate them here in Accra at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard. Kumasi, Kronumabwe here behind the Angel Educational Complex. There's Takrady Anaji State, Tema Community 22, Tichiman Hanswa, and Esiaman Zima. If you'd like to call them, the numbers are 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Bringing us to the end of the news review segment. Up next, Prime Take, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.